After I was reborn, I watched the class president and the class beauty walk to their deaths in a snake pit. After our final exams, the class president organized a camping trip where we accidentally found a wild cave. Worried about the dangers, I did everything I could to stop them from exploring it. Later, a national exploration team discovered a fortune in gemstones inside that same cave, worth millions. Years later, at a class reunion, the now broke and miserable class president wrapped his belt around my neck, screaming, "This is all your fault. You're the reason our lives are so pathetic." All the others who were there that day just stood by and watched as he strangled me to death. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn on the day of that camping trip. The class president stood at the mouth of the cave, excitedly asking me, "Hey, Chloe, should we keep going?" But what they didn't know was that the wild cave was actually a snake pit. "Chloe, our academic rep, should we press on?" Leo, the class president, looked at me with excitement, his eyes full of a desire for the unknown. Realizing I had been reborn, I couldn't help but stop in my tracks and swallow hard. In my last life, Leo strangled me to death with his belt while everyone else just watched. At the class reunion, he had insisted on throwing me a surprise birthday party. They turned off the lights, and I closed my eyes, waiting for the surprise. The next second, I felt a leather belt tighten viciously around my neck. Leo pulled it with all his might, the veins on his hands popping out. Click. Someone flipped the lights on. No one looked surprised. Instead, they were eerily calm. I struggled desperately, trying to break free from the belt's grip. We had been friends since school, stayed in touch after graduation, and I had just loaned him $3,000 to help with his business. He even used to say I was his high school crush, the one that got away. So why was he killing me? Leo suddenly yanked the belt tighter, cutting off my air completely. The world started to go blurry. He suddenly roared, his voice filled with bitterness and blame. "If you hadn't stopped us from exploring that cave, I wouldn't be so damn poor and miserable now." During that summer camping trip, our group found a wild cave and wanted to explore it, but I firmly stopped them. He blamed his pathetic life on me. So he pretended to be my friend all these years, just for the chance to kill me today. What he didn't know was that on the path to the so-called treasure, there was a massive pit of venomous snakes. We would have all died. "Chloe?" Leo's impatient voice snapped me out of my memories. I realized it then, I was reborn. Right now, we were standing at the entrance to that wild cave. A cold, damp air seeped out from inside. The cave was a bottomless pit, like a black hole connected to another universe. No sunlight could penetrate it, making the whole thing seem mysterious and alluring. I glanced at Leo and said coldly, "Didn't we already vote on this?" Just like last time, everyone except me voted to go in. If so many people were eager to die, who was I to stop them? In my past life, Leo's eyes were shining as he excitedly asked if we should go explore. Feeling my responsibility as the academic rep, I did my best to convince everyone not to take the risk. But Leo was dead set on it, determined to go down with a few other bold classmates. And of course Sophia, the class beauty, was with them. "If you dare go down there, I'm calling our homeroom teacher." Using our teacher as a threat was the only thing that made them back down. A week later, the news reported that a massive deposit of gemstones, conservatively estimated to be worth over $15 million, had been found deep inside a wild cave. The 8 classmates who were on that camping trip all blamed me for their missed chance at getting rich. They even murdered me at a class reunion, and not a single person lifted a finger to help. This time, I'm curious to see if you all have the luck to get rich and live to enjoy it. Leo was hesitating, but a few of the braver students gathered around. "Let's go, Leo. To satsar over. If we don't do something crazy now, when will we ever get the chance?" "Exactly. I heard the other class went bungee jumping. That's so cool, we can't lose to them." Sophia spoke up in her delicate voice, "Leo, why do you keep asking Chloe for her opinion? Don't tell me you're scared." After she said that, Sophia gave me a meaningful look. Everyone in class knew that Leo had a crush on Sophia, but she always kept him at arm's length. Leo stood up and made a firm decision, "We're going in." The other students cheered. Not a single person objected. "Wait a second." The cheering stopped, and all eyes turned to me. "You guys can go, but I'm out." Leo frowned at me, his eyes filled with confusion. What are you doing? We all agreed to come out and have fun together. Why are you backing out now? I spoke slowly. I'm not interested in cave exploring. Besides, we came here to camp, not to be adventurers. If you guys want to explore, go ahead. It doesn't matter if I'm here or not. After our final exams, Leo had suggested in the group chat that the whole class go camping together. But then Sophia had to chime in with, it would be so cool if we could go on an adventure. Leo took that to heart, which is why he got so fired up the moment he saw the cave. Seeing that I was dead set against going, Sophia said sarcastically, well, of course. Chloe is so delicate. She can't be compared to us common folk. That comment completely set off the other students. Kevin, who was built like a brick wall, stepped forward. What's there to be afraid of? I'm here. Do you really think anything dangerous will happen? With his muscular build, Kevin did look like a wall, and he definitely gave off a sense of security. But I wondered if he'd piss his pants when faced with a pit of venomous snakes. I'm not going, period. The camping trip will be over soon, and I'll just go home by myself. Leo tried to stop me. No way. If something happens to you, I'm the one responsible. I can't take that risk. So if something happens in the cave, you can take that responsibility? My comeback left him speechless. We just graduated, and some people are already trying to ditch the group. And after all that talk about how we'd remember each other for a lifetime. What a load of crap. Sophia's comment put me on a moral high ground, making me the bad guy. The students around me were looking at me with impatient expressions. Seriously, exploring together would be so meaningful. Don't ruin the mood for everyone. Leo chimed in, trying to persuade me. What if there's treasure in the cave? We could all get rich. A lot of the students were still lost in their daydreams, fantasizing about becoming millionaires overnight. Seeing that I still wasn't budging, Leo finally lost his patience. Let's go. It'll be dark soon, and then we really won't be able to go down. I said I'm not going. Are you deaf? My outburst stunned everyone. They never expected me to clash with the class president over something so small. Sophia stood next to Leo, feigning concern. How can you say that? Leo just wants us to make precious memories together. Why are you being so hurtful? The other students had reached their breaking point. Kevin snatched my phone out of my hand. If you don't go, you're not getting your phone back. Let's see how you call for a ride home then. The others cheered. Out here in the middle of nowhere, being without a phone was like a death sentence. I gritted my teeth and nodded. Fine. You want to die so badly? I'll personally watch you all report to the Grim Reaper. As we first entered the cave, a wave of damp air hit us. As we went deeper, we heard faint rustling sounds underfoot, and bats occasionally flew over our heads. Some of the more timid girls screamed in fear. This is so exciting, Sophia exclaimed, shaking Leo's arm. I'm so glad we came down here. If we missed this cave, who knows if we'd ever get another chance. After saying that, she shot me a subtle glance. I didn't hold back. The only people who say no more chances are the ones who aren't going to live much longer. You. Sophia stomped her foot in anger, her face turning bright red. Leo glared at me too, as if defending the goddess of his heart. Back in school, I had warned Leo more than once that Sophia was just using him as a backup plan. I'd seen her hanging out with sketchy guys from outside of school multiple times. I even took pictures to show him. Leo acted shocked, claiming he finally saw Sophia's true colors. But I later found out that he went and told Sophia that I was just jealous of her, which was why I was stalking her and taking pictures. The only reason Leo maintained a friendly facade with me was because he needed my help with his homework. In this life, I saw them both for who they really were. They were just using each other, and I was nothing more than their stepping stone. Suddenly, a rat scurried past our feet, causing a commotion. Someone nervously asked, "Do you think there are any venomous snakes or wild animals down here?" The atmosphere instantly grew quiet, and an unknown fear spread through everyone's hearts. In my previous life, I never came down here. I only learned from news reports that there were gemstones in the deepest part of the cave, but it was surrounded by a nest of poisonous snakes. Although the state successfully extracted the resources, several explorers were bitten by the snakes and died. Leo cleared his throat and said, "It's the 21st century. What are the chances of wild animals? Besides, we're not in some deep, remote mountain forest." "Exactly, don't scare yourselves. Let's keep moving," Sophia chimed in, eager to continue the adventure. She couldn't wait to post about it on social media, so everyone would praise her for being both beautiful and brave. "Let's keep going." Leo waved his hand, and the students, with no objections, followed their leader. I trailed at the back of the group, walking cautiously, terrified of encountering a snake. After walking for about 10 minutes, everyone sat down to rest. We had been down there for half an hour already, and our energy was draining fast. Our food and water supplies were dwindling too. The students with us were already showing signs of fatigue. Sophia suddenly let out an excited scream. "Look! What is this?" Everyone crowded around. In her hand was the shell of an unknown creature's egg. "Wow! It's so tiny and cute, right? I want one too. It would be such a great souvenir." "Whoa, it's pretty hard. Way harder than an eggshell." Sophia lifted her head proudly. "See? I told you there'd be cool stuff in the cave. I really don't get why some people didn't want to come down. Are their brains broken or something?" All the students knowingly glanced at me. "Let me see." "No. Weren't you the one who didn't want to come? Why should I let you see it?" As I moved closer to get a better look, Sophia snatched it away. From what I knew, snake eggshells were relatively hard and usually a whitish-gray color. I turned on my flashlight and looked closely at the ground. Sure enough, there were a large number of scattered, granular droppings. What Sophia had found was most likely a snake eggshell. What if we discover some rare animal down here? Or even an extinct one? We'd be famous. Leo's eyes lit up at the thought. "Let's keep moving," he said excitedly. Many of the students bought into it, enthusiastically grabbing their bags and pushing forward. Ah, what a bunch of idiots. They have no idea what they're about to face. Leo walked at the very front of the group with Sophia by his side, the two of them laughing and talking. "Everyone, keep up. Don't fall behind." As they walked, Leo started to feel that something was off. There was a faint rustling sound coming from the ground. At first he thought it was just small insects. But the deeper they went, the more distinct the sound became. Without thinking too much about it, Leo continued to lead everyone forward. After another 10 minutes, Kevin suddenly stopped. "Look at that." Everyone followed his gaze and saw only a few whitish rocks. Sophia tossed her hair impatiently. "Are we really stopping for some stupid rocks? You guys have seen nothing." Kevin ignored her sarcasm and said excitedly, "I'm sure of it. Those are definitely opals." Everyone paused. Kevin's family was in the gem processing business, so his word was credible. My dad said top-grade opals are extremely rare. 1 gram is worth at least $7,000. At that, the entire group erupted. I knew there was something good down here. "I'm so glad we came." "Totally. We're going to be rich." Just as everyone was excitedly fantasizing about their rich new lives, Kevin's next sentence was like a bucket of cold water. My dad also said that any treasure found in the wild belongs to the state. Private mining is illegal. Just as everyone was about to give up and move on, Sophia whispered, "There are only 8 of us. If you don't say anything, and I don't say anything, we can just sneak some away. Who would ever know?" That single sentence unleashed the greedy demon in everyone's heart. Kevin was the first to shake his head. "No way. That's illegal. I'm not doing it." But Veronica, who had been quiet the whole time, spoke up. "Think about it. We study so hard to get into a good university, so we can find a good job and make money. Now, a chance to get rich is right in front of us. Why are we hesitating?" At the class reunion in my past life, as Leo strangled me, Veronica was the one laughing loudly, saying I deserved it for constantly overshadowing her in school. Veronica was always second best. No matter the subject, I always managed to beat her. She acted cool about it on the surface, but deep down she hated my guts. But I could tell Kevin was wavering. Leo's eyes darted around. "All right, let's have a democratic vote. Majority rules. It's 7-1. We'll do what Sophia said. As for Chloe, she'll just have to go along with us." "That's right. I was the only one who voted no." Our academic rep is so high and mighty, not even tempted by wealth. I'm truly impressed. Sophia clapped as she walked over to me. Kevin was the first to go over to the gems and start counting. A large portion is still embedded in the rock wall. There's no way we can mine it ourselves. We can pick up some of the broken pieces around here. What a coincidence, there are exactly 8 pieces. One for each of us. Sophia rushed forward, ready to pick the best one. Everyone crowded together, afraid of getting stuck with the smallest piece. There was only one piece left, and I didn't move. Isn't our rep so high and mighty? If I were you, I wouldn't have the face to take one. Taking it would just be a slap in your own face, wouldn't it? Sophia stared at me, deliberately trying to provoke me with her nasty words. Who said I wanted it? I voluntarily give up the last piece. You guys can figure out who gets an extra one. The 7 students' eyes instantly lit up, all of them staring greedily at the last gemstone on the ground. The class president stepped forward and said, I think the last piece should go to Sophia. After all, she's the one who led us here. On what grounds? Veronica was the first to object. Sophia shot Veronica a death glare, as if she wanted to eat her alive. I think it should be mine. I'm the poorest one here, and my dad is in the hospital and needs money. So shameless, using her sob story to get more. Kevin was clearly unhappy with Veronica's reasoning. Who says the poorest gets priority? If I hadn't spotted these gems, would any of you have even had a chance to get one? While they were all bickering, Sophia secretly snatched the last gem from the ground and tried to make a run for it. A sharp-eyed Kevin saw her and yelled, "You bitch!" Kevin lunged forward and kicked Sophia, knocking her to the ground. Think you can just grab the gem and run? Leo rushed to help Sophia up, his face full of pity and anger. You hit a girl. Are you even a man? I thought to myself, man or woman, whoever hits Sophia is a good person in my book. Leo's accusation made Kevin a bit embarrassed. Well, she was stealing. It was just a reflex. Leo glared at Kevin, then quickly turned his attention back to Sophia. Sophia, are you okay? Before Sophia could even react, Leo grabbed her and the two of them ducked into a narrow opening up ahead. The passage was so tight that only one person could squeeze through at a time. The others, snapping back to reality, all rushed to squeeze in after them, determined to get their hands on that last gemstone. But the next second, a terrified scream came from the class president. Get back. There are snakes in here. In an instant, the narrow passage descended into chaos. The tunnel Leo had gone through was barely wide enough for one person, and the ground was covered in slippery moss. One wrong step and you'd fall. Veronica, at the back of the line, heard snakes and her legs turned to jelly. She slipped and fell to the ground. Her hair was soaked with sweat, sticking to her forehead as she cried out for help. When she saw me, she suddenly yelled, Chloe, quick, give me a hand. I can't get up. I slowly walked over to her and pretended to pull. Oof, you're too heavy. I can't pull you up. Veronica's face flushed with anger and she shot back, bullshit. Just pull harder. I don't have the strength. I really can't lift you. You'll have to try to get up yourself. The people inside were getting impatient. Can you guys hurry the hell up? Kevin, stuck at the back, just shoved with all his might, forcing Veronica out of the narrow passage. Veronica was covered in scrapes, with a long gash on her face from a sharp rock. The others gradually emerged from the tunnel. The last one out was Sophia. Her face was pale, and she was drenched in sweat. Before anyone could recover from the shock, several venomous snakes slithered out through the passage. They were king cobras. The cobras reared up, their tongues flicking as they made terrifying hissing sounds. Everyone was too scared to even breathe, their feet frozen to the ground. As if it smelled something, one of the king cobras suddenly lunged toward Sophia. But in the next second, a scream came from inside the cave. It was Leo. Ah! Leo clutched his calf, crying out in agony. Sophia had actually pushed Leo in front of her to block the snake. There was no time to think. Everyone scrambled towards the exit. Help me! Somebody help me! Kevin couldn't bring himself to abandon the class president and yanked him up. I ran at the front of the pack. Even though I had mentally prepared myself for snakes, my legs were still shaking uncontrollably. But I was lucky enough to be reborn, and I was not going to die again. For some reason, the king cobra seemed to have locked onto Sophia, relentlessly chasing her. "Sophia, are you on your period?" I yelled. Sophia, still running for her life, nodded. That explained it. Snakes are particularly sensitive to the smell of blood. It suddenly dawned on Sophia that she was the most endangered person in the group. Kevin quickly caught up from behind, while Veronica and Sophia, exhausted, fell to the back of the pack. The smell of blood from Sophia made the king cobra abnormally excited. It lunged forward. Terrified, Sophia immediately grabbed Veronica and used her as a shield. Although she wasn't bitten directly, the venom that the snake spat splashed right into Veronica's eyes. "Ah! My eyes! I can't see!" Veronica collapsed to the ground, writhing in agony, with the hungry king cobras right behind her. While everyone hesitated, debating whether to save Veronica, Sophia just turned and ran. Without a moment's hesitation. It was then that everyone realized just how truly vicious Sophia was. Veronica's agonizing screams echoed from behind, "Help me! I don't want to die!" Sophia just snorted. "The weak get eliminated. She's not worth pitying. Besides, her sacrifice bought us some time to escape, so I guess she made a contribution." I ran up next to Kevin and whispered, "As long as Sophia is with us, the snakes will keep coming. And next time, who knows who she'll use as a shield?" The others around me didn't say anything, but I could tell they were thinking the same thing. It would be better to just get rid of Sophia. Sophia's stamina was starting to give out. She was already weak from her period, and the intense escape had drained her. She quickly fell to the back of the pack again. "Kevin, can you help me? Please," Sophia begged in her squeaky voice. "What about Leo?" Kevin had been dragging the bitten Leo, who was now barely conscious. "He's practically dead anyway. What's the point of saving him? You should help me. If we get out, I'll give you my share of the gems." Kevin thought for a moment, then immediately let go. Leo fell to the ground with a thud. "Deal." Kevin scooped Sophia up in his arms and started running. The others couldn't stand to watch. They helped Leo up and slowly made their way out. I don't know how long we ran. Everyone's steps grew heavier and heavier, but the king cobras were still in hot pursuit. "I can't do it anymore. You'll have to get down and run yourself." "I'm out of energy," Kevin panted. But Sophia just clung tightly to his neck. "How can you do this? We had a deal." Kevin just threw his hands up and tossed Sophia hard onto the ground. "To hell with the gems. Is it more important than my life? Besides, what's the use of having gems if you're not alive to spend them?" The king cobra, smelling the strong scent of blood, suddenly opened its massive mouth and launched a fierce attack on Sophia. Sophia scrambled backward, screaming no. In a flash, just as the king cobra was about to strike, Leo threw himself in front of Sophia. Sophia was completely terrified. She struggled to her feet and tried to run, completely ignoring the fate of the person in front of her. Kevin couldn't take it anymore. He shoved Sophia, who had just managed to stand up, back to the ground. The king cobra immediately changed its target, opened its bloody maw, and sank its fangs into her ankle. Venom poured continuously into her bloodstream. "Is anyone there?" "We're the rescue team." A few powerful beams of light pierced the darkness of the cave. It looked like the rescue team I called had finally arrived. "We're over here." Hearing the rescuers, everyone responded excitedly. Sophia's voice was the loudest of all. With the help of the rescue team, the 7 of us managed to escape the king cobras. Unfortunately, Veronica had already died from the poison. In the hospital, Leo lay weakly on the bed. Too much time had passed, and the physical exertion had caused the venom to spread. Despite the doctor's best efforts, the only way to save his life was to amputate both of his legs. When Leo's mother heard the news, she fainted on the spot. She never could have imagined that her perfectly healthy son would go out for a camping trip and come back without his legs. Leo had just gotten into his dream university and was about to start a brilliant new chapter, but now, thanks to Sophia, he was disabled for life. Sophia got off a bit better. Her leg was saved, but the venom had spread too quickly, causing permanent muscle weakness in her left leg. She would also drool uncontrollably from time to time, and would have to wear a bib for the rest of her life. When Leo woke up and saw his empty pant legs, he started pounding the bed in a frenzy. "How could this happen? Where are my legs? Who took my legs? Seeing her son so distraught, Leo's mother rushed to hug him, terrified he would do something reckless. Is Leo in this room? The door was violently pushed open, and a crowd of people poured in. Were the parents? Your son organized our kids' camping trip, and now they're all traumatized. We heard someone even died in that cave. This has caused serious psychological damage to our children. Leo's mother was confused. She didn't understand what these people wanted. Your son was the organizer, so he should bear the responsibility. We're not asking for much, just $100,000 per family for emotional distress. $100,000? The amount made Leo's mother stagger back a few steps. Leo yelled. Exploring the cave was a group decision. We voted on it. Everyone is responsible. Who says? Do you have proof? I didn't hear my kids say anything about a vote. Leo was speechless. It was obvious they were just trying to extort money. We don't have the money. We heard the amputation cost $200,000. No money? Who are you kidding? You have 3 days. If we don't see the money, we'll see you in court. Leo's mother started to cry. The family was already deep in debt. What were they going to do? That night, as Leo slept, he vaguely felt someone by his bed. He opened his eyes to see a middle-aged woman standing over him, holding a gleaming kitchen knife. What are you doing? Leo struggled to sit up, but without his legs, he was immobile. You killed my daughter. I want your life in return. It was Veronica's mother, and she brought the knife down hard. Luckily, Leo's mother, returning from the bathroom, saw her and tackled her to the ground. A nurse quickly called security, and they managed to save Leo's life. Leo was so terrified he couldn't close his eyes to sleep, afraid someone else would come for him. I have to admit, I was a little disappointed that Leo wasn't killed. After all, I was the one who gave Veronica's mother his room number. I went to Leo's room and looked at the empty space in his blankets, feeling an indescribable sense of satisfaction. I came to see you. How have you been? A flicker of resentment crossed Leo's face before he forced a smile. Lost both my legs. Just living, I guess. He looked like a fallen prince. I sat by his bed, peeling an orange. You were the one who insisted on exploring that cave. You can only blame yourself. Leo looked at me, his eyes burning with fury. If you had just stopped me back then, I wouldn't have ended up like this. This is all because of you. You evil woman. I gave him a cold look. You wanted to die. Why would I stop you? By the way, I heard your mom sold your house at a huge discount to pay those people off. Leo looked shocked. When did that happen? Why didn't I know? Do you know who bought it? Kevin's dad. With that, I got up and left. After all, a dog-eat-dog drama is my favorite kind of show. July flew by, and all the students received their acceptance letters from their dream universities. Even though Leo got into a top-tier school, losing his legs had crushed his spirit, and he spent his days lying in his hospital bed. A message popped up in the class group chat. My dad's rewarding me for my good grades. I'm treating the whole class to dinner. Kevin, you're the man. Everyone in the class said they would definitely go, except for Leo. He still resented Kevin's dad for buying his family's house, which had left his family living out of the hospital. Just as he was stewing in his hatred, he got a private message from Sophia. Leo, you should come too. I miss you. Reading that message, Leo's heart couldn't help but flutter. He had assumed that after he became disabled, Sophia would want nothing to do with him. He never expected her to still be thinking of him. With that thought, Leo replied with a simple okay. At the party, all the students were dressed to the nines and looked fabulous. Only Leo seemed out of place. Whoa, Leo really is disabled. I thought it was just a rumor. Seeing is believing, I guess. If I were him, I wouldn't have the guts to show up. The students' whispers felt like sharp knives stabbing into his heart. Leo felt like he couldn't breathe, and started to wheel himself away. But Kevin stopped him and announced loudly to the crowd. Our great class president has graced us with his presence today. All eyes focused on him, or more accurately on his empty pant legs. Leo was so embarrassed he wished the ground would swallow him whole. Kevin leaned down close to Leo's ear and whispered, Hey, Mr. President. Thanks to your family being so broke, my dad was able to buy your house for $200,000 less than market value. Leo trembled with rage, his hands clenched into tight fists, his knuckles turning white. Just then, a voice came from the crowd. Leo, long time no see. It was Sophia. She wore a white dress, her dark hair falling naturally around her shoulders, looking like a pure, untouchable lotus flower. Except for the fact that she walked with a limp, a permanent side effect of the snake bite. Sophia pushed Leo's wheelchair. Leo, let's go somewhere else to catch up. It's too noisy in here. Okay, Leo said, gazing at Sophia dreamily as he nodded. Are they bonding over their misery or something? One's a cripple, the other's disabled, a student joked, causing the whole room to erupt in laughter. Sophia took him to the stairwell. Sophia, are you okay? Hearing his question, Sophia burst out laughing, but the sound of it sent a chill down Leo's spine. Am I okay? Can't you see whether I'm okay or not? Sophia's expression suddenly changed, and she glared at Leo with hatred. My left leg is lame. I'll never be able to walk properly for the rest of my life, and this drooling problem can't be fixed. And this is all your fault. Leo frantically waved his hands, denying it. Sophia, how can you think that? You agreed to go down and explore too. If you hadn't organized the camping trip, we never would have found the cave, and we never would have gone exploring. At the end of the day, this is all your fault. Sophia roared, all her previous gentleness gone. The fury in her eyes was like a raging fire, about to burn him to a crisp. The next second, Sophia pulled out a fruit knife and stabbed it straight into Leo's chest. It's all your fault. You ruined me, Sophia screamed, using all her strength to plunge the knife all the way in. You owe me, and you can only pay me back with your life. Leo struggled for a few moments, blood gurgling from his throat, his eyes filled with disbelief. He didn't understand. He had blocked the snake for her. Why did she still blame him? Sophia's eyes were bloodshot, and her white dress was splattered with blood. Before long, the police arrived and arrested Sophia. Kevin stood on the stage, calming the other students. Everyone carry on. Eat, drink, and have fun. Excuse me, we're the police. You're under investigation for stealing national resources. Please come with us. Kevin stared blankly, unable to believe what he was hearing. The other 3 students who were with them were also taken away by the police for investigation. Kevin looked at me with disbelief. Was it you? I smiled and nodded. Of course it was me. Because in this life, I made sure none of you would have a peaceful death. Sophia was convicted of intentional homicide and sentenced to death. I heard that in court, she kept telling the judge. It's not my fault, it's all Leo's fault. I did nothing wrong. Kevin and the other 2 were sentenced to 3 years in prison, and all the gemstones were turned over to the state. I watched the news report on TV as I packed my bags for college. My real future was just beginning. The end.